Okay. All right, people. Me Topo. It's been a while since we did a live, so let's get started. All right. I would want to do this straight from the soul, straight from the dome, right? So everybody knows that I'm speaking from experience rather than just some theorized. Oh, sorry. Rather than just some theorized theory. Okay? As the title says, why everybody needs the yin and the yang iron mesh qigong. Okay? This is not to be confused with the iron shirt qigong that you may have heard about from Mantak Chia. Okay? From my understanding and from reading other people's benefits and experiences of doing Mantak Chia's Iron Shirt Qigong is more for health based. Whereas the Yin and the Yang Iron Shirt, the one that I'm the lineage holder of, that came from the White Cloud Temple of the Taoism, from the Dragon sect of Taoism, okay, is martial based. There we go again. Sorry. Is martial based. Hopefully this doesn't keep happening here. I'm charging my phone. Probably not the best time to do a live, but whatever. Here we are. Okay? So, why everyone needs the yin and the yang iron shirt qigong beyond martial. Okay? Now, let's start with may sound contradicting, but it's a great segue. Let's start with the martial. Okay? Now, with the yin and the yang iron shirt, it helps with any type of martial art. Let's start with that, okay? Whereas most iron body qigong is specifically for that type of art, right? For example, and you can see some of my older videos how we have the San Qian, right? It gives you short, shocking power, okay? Things of that nature, right? Whereas because of the specific property of the yin and the yang iron shirt qigong, it is really an umbrella, okay, for many different types of art because of its properties, okay? For example, uh, let's just start with a simple movement, okay, a phoenix washes its feathers, okay? You have that found in different areas of the body, okay, when you do it, okay? Now, how is going like this, for example, gonna help with any type of martial art, okay? Let's start there. Because remember, we're talking about how this is beyond martial arts, okay? But we're starting with a principle of how the yin and yang iron shirt is can be for almost any martial art or sport activity. All right. So the phoenix washes its feathers. As you can see, this phoenix beak is not to be confused with the Tai Chi crane beak that you see here. It is different. Okay. Why is this important and why is this different than Tai Chi? Well, first of all, with the crane beak, you can strike, things of that nature, okay? In the yin and the yang iron shirt, we're not using this as a weapon, okay? What's up, everybody? We're not using this as a weapon. We are using this phoenix beak, not the crane beak, the phoenix beak, to manipulate our fascia, okay? With each different finger, you have a fascia line that goes to a specific part of your body. Your hand is almost like its own little body. If you know anything about reflexology, you can understand that, okay? So when you're doing the phoenix beak, you are manipulating all the different fascia lines of the body, right? That's why it can go for almost any sports activity or any martial art because we're combining all the fascial lines here. I'll look at some of your comments in here in a second, right? What's up? Let me talk about, right? So, whereas, for example, in the Samchian form, which is for short power, we do the Phoenix Eye Fist. And you can see how this is extended, okay? That means it's targeting a specific type, specific fascial line, okay? Now, we're not doing a Phoenix Eye Fist, but we're doing the Phoenix Beak, and it's done with relaxation, okay? So, how in the world could a Phoenix Beak help me punch more faster, right? Or help me do a Shaolin technique more speed and power, right? Well, that leads us to our next principle, relaxation, okay? Why is relaxation probably the most important principle in the yin and the yang iron shirt, okay? Number one, if you look at a boxer like Floyd Mayweather, okay, what separates him from other boxers besides his technique, right? I'll give you a second. Okay, you may have guessed it, it's his relaxation. If you watch Floyd, he is never, ever tensed up to the point where he can't move. Everything Floyd does is from a relaxing state. So no matter what angle he's at, okay, or where what punch is thrown, his body can naturally react automatically, unautonomously. Okay? So when we're doing the Phoenix Beak, okay, in these different angles, we are manipulating our fascia, okay, to respond with relaxation at every angle. Okay? Now, but that doesn't explain the power and the speed, right? Why is power and speed come from this Phoenix Beak? Okay? Well, if you know anything about mathematics, which I don't claim to know a whole lot about, okay? But the mathematics, speed and power go with each other, okay? Just like a whip, right? Originally, this is was to help my chole foot, right? And if you know anything about chole foot, you know they do a lot of whipping power, okay? But that whipping power doesn't stop and start at chole foot, okay? There's always 9 times out of 10 a whipping action in almost any type of sport. That principle of going from a relaxed state and whipping out can be found in almost any sport, almost any activity, okay, and almost any martial art. I would say, except for the Hakka arts, because they're creating a spring already, okay, and that's you have to tense up your body for that or manipulate your body to build that spring. Whereas the yin and the yang iron vest, it trains your body to be in a relaxed spring state, not a tension spring state like you see in southern praying mantis, okay? Because you have to physically tighten your body to build the spring and hollow out your chest. But in the yang iron vest, you can be totally natural, okay? But you're still springy, okay? Now I have a ebook broken down, the science broken down, okay, in non-esoteric terms. How in the world could you be in a spring state in your body whatsoever, right? It's a very, very interesting thing, okay? Now, let's go into the next part. Why the yin and the yang iron vest is an umbrella for almost any type of activity beyond martial art. Okay, we've talked about the relaxation. Okay, we talked a little bit about the fascia. Okay, now I want to stress movement. Okay, how in the world? Because in the yin and yang iron vest, our body is mostly straight. We have a few movements when we come down here and we come back up, but our body is mostly straight and we have to stay relaxed the whole time. How in the world could standing like this with no tension allow me to move at any angle? Because it's not like I'm bending or twisting with all this tension and hard breathing. No, none of that. It's almost like doing qigong. The yin and the yang iron vest is almost like doing medical qigong, except for it turns your body into steel, okay, and allows you 3 to 5 times speed and power and agility and of course durability, okay? But if I'm not undulating, because most sports conditioning is sport specific. You know, in track, you have to actually do agility drills, okay? In wrestling, you have to actually get up on the floor and practice all of that, okay? But with the yin and the yang iron vest, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to undulate your body in all these different movements and angles to get speed and power. How is that possible if I'm standing straight the most of the time with no tension, okay? I'll give you one of the answers again. I have an ebook for this, okay? Number one, if you look at science, okay, and you look at where's the body most powerful in any type of movement, specifically the walking gait. And when you walk, there's a part when you walk where your body is the most powerful. It's the stance gait, okay? That's why you see track people, they're in the stance gait before they go off. They're not just going like, okay, ready, set, go, and then they run. They're in the stance gait, okay? But with the yin and yang iron vest, you don't need to be in a stance gait to get this type of speed and power. How is that possible, okay? Now, when you are manipulating your fascia in these different lines right here, okay, the horse stance, that's why in martial arts, the first thing you practice, which a lot of MMA people don't do. If you watch some of the older Anderson Silva fighting fights, you can see he's in a stance. After he got his shin snapped, he's not in a stance anymore. The same thing with Lyoto Machida. If you watch them, they're always fighting in a horse stance, kind of like those karate fighters, okay? But the difference is that we are simultaneously unwinding, but winding our fascia when we are in this stance gait, okay? So you are training your body to be super relaxed at the moment of when your body is the most powerful, even though you're not on these different angles, okay? And I'll give you a little tidbit on why you don't have to angulate your body to be powerful in these different angles, okay? Number one, we already talked about the stance gait, okay? But let's build on that, right? When you are doing, and this is where the phoenix beak comes into play. When you're doing the phoenix beak, like I said, we're manipulating the fascia, right? So we are connecting these different parts from our upper torso to our lower torso. That's why in the yin and yang iron vest, there's only 2 stances. There's this stance and then the horse stance, okay? But we are connecting our whole body into our stance, okay? So now you don't have to odulate and contort your body to connect. Like when people, track stars go like this, they have to literally get down and bring their upper body to their lower body to make that spring. When you do the yin and yang iron vest, you don't need to do that because it's not a muscular structural connection. It's a fascia one, okay? Now, again, fascia encases your whole body. You literally have like a Spider-Man suit underneath this that's stronger than steel, okay? So you can connect that. Fascia is like clay. You can mold it and it will adjust under pressure. That's one of the secrets of iron body, okay? So when you are doing this, the phoenix beak, okay, manipulates all of this to connect at these different angles, okay? Now, what I'm demonstrating isn't the whole form, so please don't get that twisted, okay? So that's one of the last principles, okay? The very last principle I will talk about, okay, is, let's see, I would say stamina, okay? Now we can all use stamina. Every single sport, okay, or maybe work, is all predicated on stamina. How long can you last without tiring? I don't care how good you are in any type of sport or martial art. If you tire, you're gonna basically lose if you tire before the opponent, right? So how does doing all of this help out your stamina, okay? When you're running, if you can take less breath and still keep that same output, okay, you'll have more stamina. You don't have to hyperventilate, okay? Now, how do you do that? How do you get the most energy in the less breath, and as less breaths as possible, okay? That again stems from relaxation. And then also breathing from your whole body. You're not just breathing from your lungs anymore. You're not just breathing from your stomach anymore, okay? You can literally breathe from your whole body, okay? That's why some people hyperventilate. It gets stuck right here, okay? But you can literally breathe and invigorate your whole body. If you train your whole body, number one, to connect as one, okay? Move as one, relax as one, and then you can breathe from your whole body. But in a relaxed state, it's very hard to breathe from your whole body when you're not relaxed, okay? You can cut off your air supply if your neck is too tight, okay? Your chest is too tight, and so forth, okay? And your body is now able to freely move if it's fully relaxed, okay? For speed and power, you're not going to be tightened up the whole way through. You're going to be relaxed up until the moment of impact, okay? So now you're not wasting energy. You're conserving and making your movements really efficient and sharp, okay? And that can only be done if you relax and don't tense up unnecessarily, okay? All right, I don't want to give out too much because I could talk about this all day. All right, I'm going to be heavily promoting this more. The next type of video we're going to be talking about the anti-aging properties of the yin and yang iron vest, because it will definitely keep you young. All right. With that said, I'll meet you.